The old house stood silently. It loomed over Shahab and his family. They arrived in Gopinathpur after a long drive. The sun was setting and shadows stretched long across the overgrown lawn.
It's so big, Baba.
Little Fuad giggled, excited by the new place. But Jahida felt a chill. The air felt heavy, burdened.
Don't worry, Shahab said, sensing her unease. It just needs a little love.
He smiled, trying to appear brave. But even he felt a shiver run down his spine. The house seemed to watch them. Its empty windows were like eyes. The next day, they ventured deeper into the old estate. Dust covered everything, a testament to years of neglect and abandonment. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay, making each breath feel heavy. Cobwebs hung from the high ceilings, swaying gently with the slightest breeze. They seemed to form a delicate, ghostly curtain that added to the eerie atmosphere of the place. The house was full of old furniture, draped in white sheets. Each piece, hidden beneath layers of fabric, hinted at stories long forgotten and memories buried in time.
Careful, Shahab, watch your step.
Jahida cried, rushing to stop him from tripping over a loose floorboard. Her heart raced, not just from the scare but from the overwhelming sense of foreboding that seemed to permeate the air. The sheet fell away, revealing a large, ornately carved wooden chest. Its intricate designs were a marvel, even under the layers of dust and cobwebs that clung to it. It was beautiful, yet unsettling. The craftsmanship was exquisite, but there was something about it that sent a shiver down their spines. Its dark wood gleamed faintly in the dim light, casting eerie shadows that danced across the room.
Shahab ran his hand over the intricate designs, feeling the grooves and patterns beneath his fingertips. They seemed to writhe and twist beneath his touch, almost as if they were alive, responding to his presence. The chest was locked, but as he touched it, he felt a strange vibration, a subtle hum that seemed to resonate from within. A low hum seemed to emanate from within, growing louder the longer he kept his hand on the chest. He felt drawn to it, inexplicably. There was a magnetic pull, an allure that he couldn't quite explain, compelling him to uncover the secrets it held.
That night, Fuad woke up screaming. Jahida rushed to him, her heart pounding in her chest. She had never heard him scream like that before, and it sent chills down her spine. The house, usually so quiet at this hour, was now filled with the echoes of his terror.
"What is it, Fuad?" she asked, her voice barely concealing her own fear. She had to be strong for him, but the look in his eyes was unsettling.
She asked, her voice trembling. She could see the fear etched on his face, and it mirrored her own growing dread. Fuad pointed at the corner of the room, his finger shaking. The darkness seemed to grow thicker, more oppressive, as if it were hiding something sinister.
The lady. She was there, he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. His eyes were wide with terror, and he clung to Jahida as if she were his only lifeline.
He whimpered. Jahida saw nothing, but Fuad insisted. He described the lady in detail, her long dark hair, her pale face, and the way she seemed to float just above the ground.
She smiled at me, he whispered, his eyes wide with terror. It wasn't a friendly smile, but one that sent shivers down his spine. She said, "She wants to be my friend." His voice was filled with confusion and fear, as if he couldn't understand why someone so terrifying would want to befriend him.
Over the next few days, Fuad started sleepwalking. Jahida would find him wandering the house at odd hours, his eyes open but unseeing. It was as if he were being guided by an invisible hand. He would talk to an unseen presence. His conversations were one-sided, filled with pauses as if he were listening to responses only he could hear. He would giggle and then suddenly grow quiet, as if listening to someone. Jahida was terrified. She could feel the presence in the house, a cold, unsettling feeling that made her skin crawl. Shahab tried to rationalize it. He told himself it was just a phase, that Fuad would grow out of it. But the fear in his son's eyes was too real to ignore. But deep down, a seed of fear began to sprout in his heart. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, that their lives were being touched by something beyond their understanding. Worried, Shahab sought out the village chairman. He had heard many stories about the old man, who was known for his wisdom and knowledge of the village's history. Shahab hoped that the chairman could provide some answers to the strange occurrences that had been plaguing his family. The old man lived in a small, tidy house at the edge of Gopinathpur. The house, though modest, had an air of mystery about it, as if it held secrets from the past. He listened intently to Shahab's story, his wrinkled face etched with concern. The chairman had seen many things in his lifetime, but the tale Shahab told was particularly troubling. "The chest," he finally said, his voice a low murmur. It was as if he was reluctant to speak of it, fearing the power of the words themselves. It belonged to the old owners, a wealthy family. They were once the pride of the village, known for their generosity and kindness. But they met a tragic end. One night, a terrible fire broke out, consuming their grand mansion and leaving nothing but ashes and sorrow. The wife, she lost her mind. The grief and horror of that night were too much for her to bear. They say she took her own life. Her spirit, tormented by the loss of her family and home, could not find peace. He looked at Shahab, his eyes filled with a deep sadness. The chairman knew that the past had a way of haunting the present, and he feared for Shahab and his family. They say her soul, it never found peace. The villagers believe that her restless spirit is bound to the chest, unable to move on. It's trapped here, bound to the chest. The chest is a vessel of her sorrow and rage, a constant reminder of the tragedy that befell her family. Shahab listened, his blood running cold. The weight of the chairman's words settled heavily on his shoulders, and he realized the gravity of the situation. He knew he had to do something. He couldn't let his family be terrorized by a restless spirit. Shahab resolved to find a way to put the spirit to rest, no matter the cost. He couldn't let his family be terrorized by a restless spirit. Shahab knew that the safety and peace of his loved ones depended on his actions. He would face whatever dangers lay ahead to protect them. The strange happenings escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own. Objects moved mysteriously. One night, Shahab woke up to see Asif standing by the window, bathed in an eerie blue light.
Asif!
He called out, but Asif just giggled and pointed at the darkness outside.
"She's here, Baba. She wants to play."
Shahab felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He could sense a presence in the room, something dark and cold. He quickly took Asif back to bed and stayed with him, his heart pounding in his chest. Desperation gnawed at Shahab. He decided to seek help from the village imam. The imam was a kind old man with eyes that held ancient wisdom. He listened patiently to Shahab's tale, his brow furrowed in thought.
The spirit is trapped. She is bound to this world by something she left behind, something in that chest.
He looked at Shahab, his gaze intense.
You must help her find peace. Return what belongs to her. Only then will she leave you in peace.
Shahab knew what he had to do. He gathered his courage and went to the chest. It felt colder than before, as if radiating an unnatural chill. He fumbled with the lock, finally managing to pry it open. Inside, he found a small wooden doll. It was beautifully crafted, with delicate features and a flowing gown. As he picked it up, he felt a wave of sadness wash over him. He knew instantly. This belonged to the woman, to the lost soul. He held the doll tightly.
We'll help you,
he whispered into the silent room. That night, they left the doll in the center of the room. A cold breeze swept through the house, extinguishing the candles. Then, silence. A heavy, oppressive silence. Hours passed. Asif slept soundly for the first time in days. The house felt lighter, the air less oppressive. Hope, fragile yet real, blossomed in Shahab's heart.
Baba, do you think it's over?
Shahab nodded, his heart filled with cautious optimism. As dawn broke, Shahab went to the window. The first rays of sunlight bathed the garden in a warm glow. He felt a sense of relief. It was finally over. He turned to wake Mina, a smile on his lips. But the smile froze on his face. His blood turned to ice. There, clutched in Asif's tiny hand, was the doll. Asif slept peacefully, a sweet smile on his lips.
She likes you, Baba. She wants to stay and play, forever and ever.
The sinister smile on the doll's face sent chills down Shahab's spine.